We're first going to talk about the winter weather alerts that we have active, and we'll go for the most part through Tuesday morning. And then, of course, we'll time out the details. We'll talk about how much we're expecting and travel impacts over the next couple of days. So a lot to get to. First, we are under a winter storm warning. This going and starting at least by 6 a.m. So here shortly, and goes until Tuesday at noon for us here in Lincoln. Most of this also going through Tuesday morning. We also have some blizzard warnings that you see now in south central Nebraska. This is an update that happened overnight, and winter weather advisories on the fringe out in western Nebraska. So first, this blizzard warning does go until Tuesday morning, now including much of the Tri-Cities that you can see. Winds just going to become a problem with some of this storm, and first out here in south central Nebraska before we see it move into eastern Nebraska. We'll time out some of that later as well. But winter weather advisories do go until Tuesday morning for Valentine, areas on the fringe through areas south of North Platte too. North Platte now one of these areas though under a winter storm warning as we go through the rest of the day today and through Tuesday morning. So as you can see, this winter storm is going to come impact us for the majority of the day today, if not the first half of tomorrow too. The first part of this we've already seen is some mixed precipitation. I've seen some sleet here at the station mixing in with some snowflakes. The ground right now is pretty wet out there, and so is our camera lens as we look at North 48th and Cornhusker Highway. Temperatures just above freezing, if not a little bit warmer in some spots to the south. That's why we're seeing some mixed precipitation at this point before we see a complete transition to snow. But these temperatures where we're at here in Lincoln, 34 degrees, if not right above 32, 33, that's just where we're expected to kind of hover through most of the day today. So as you can imagine, a heavy wet snow expected because of some of these conditions we're already noticing here as of 5:15 this morning. Wind speeds not all that bad, but picking up. They're right around 10 to 15 miles per hour out of the southeast. This is also bringing enough warm air to help melt some of that snow as it falls, help it refreeze, and that's why we've seen some sleet, some freezing rain kind of mixing in here late. I've isolated radar here to just kind of show you this potential as we go through the next couple hours. You're seeing this come in from the south, and it'll continue here off and on through much of the morning before we see that complete transition to snow. Most of North Lincoln, even though it's saying snow, it's just been warm enough that a lot of this is mixed precipitation out there. Some of it freezing on untreated surfaces, so beware of that. It's mainly eastern Nebraska that's been seeing this too. Northeast Nebraska for a while last night was seeing some snow. That's continuing off to the north before a lot of this is going to fill in. You can even notice a couple hints here looking farther south that we'll see more coming up from the south here soon enough. So fast forward to 6 o'clock this morning, noticing a lot of rain, snow mix along the border of Kansas here before we see that transition to snow. This is 8 a.m. and model's doing a pretty good job. I picked this model because it did a good job of resolving what we saw overnight. Some heavy snows. You see that with the dark blues in here. Yeah, that could be a possibility. 1 to 2 inch snowfall rates, certainly a possibility through much of the morning here early. And what you'll notice over Lincoln, much of southeast Nebraska, even up into Omaha, a lot of this heavy snow just sits on us for a while, going into the rest of this afternoon, evening, tonight, even overnight into Tuesday before we get a lull, and a lot of it starts to taper off through the morning hours tomorrow. So it takes a lot of convincing to get us to forecast high amounts of snow, and really the latest trends have been convincing. One of the factors we look at is the mixed precipitation we've been seeing here early, how that's going to cut into total snowfall amounts through the end of this. Also how warm the ground is, how much melting we're going to see as this snow continues to the ground, and how warm the ground may be to melt some of this off first before it starts accumulating. And then in knowing that this is a heavy wet snow, the compaction that we're going to see with this, because we may get 8, 9, 10 inches of fall, but compaction would drop off an inch or so of that as well. So in talking about the potential, this is the chance for 8 inches of snow. What is impressive in this is most of eastern Nebraska has a better than 50% chance of seeing even 8 inches of snow. So in factoring that in, and the latest model trends, you know, we've been watching this for a while last week and leading into this early week. I have updated snowfall totals in and around Lincoln to be, especially in and around Lincoln, thinking 7 to 8 inches. Wouldn't be surprised to see some 8+ inch reports in this area of far southeast and up into northeast Nebraska as well. Much of eastern Nebraska and central portion of Nebraska, 4 to 8 inches, certainly not out of the question. And then as you can see, tapers off as we go into western Nebraska. And talking about some travel impacts, first it's going to be the snow though, going through much of this morning, especially when we see some of those higher snowfall rates kind of come in and heavier bands of snow settle in just past the Kansas border through 8, 9, 10 o'clock. You notice moderate travel impacts because of the snow continue through most of the night tonight before we see a transition to mostly it being blowing snow through the first half of tomorrow and into the day on Tuesday. So you'll see the highest wind gusts start out this morning out in western Nebraska where it's not snowing. Then wind gusts again 35 to 40, 45, 50 mile per hour wind gusts certainly possible with this storm as we continue, especially tonight and into tomorrow morning here in eastern Nebraska. So a busy forecast here over the next couple of days. Temperatures are really going to drop off with that much snow on the ground too. And actually the system's going to pull in a lot of cold air from the north. You see overnight wind chills going into this weekend, especially Saturday night into Sunday, could be in the range of 20 to 30 degrees below, factoring in some of those winds. So certainly a lot we'll look at here in the future, but today focusing on that winter storm and how it's going to impact the rest of your day.
Snow today, freezing temperatures on the weekend. Sounds great. All right, thank you, Jessica. Still ahead, controversy